I intended just to show you the 3D foundation, but I wanted to show you guys this stuff I'm obsessed with, this Marc Jacobs kind of shimmer shade in action. So I figured I'd do one eye and then get to that 3D foundation again. So I already have this eye primed, and I used my Kat Von D Lock-It primer. So I already have this eye primed and cupcake over my primer just to keep it a little more easy to work with. I'm gonna go in with just a little dome brush here and pick up some of Bubba. So you want just a warm tone for your crease. And I'm just gonna go back and forth with windshield wiper motions in the crease. So again, your crease shade here is gonna peek out just a little bit on the other side, but also it's gonna make that darker shade that we put on top easier to blend. So just pick a warm tone shade. This one is Bubba in Seint, but just a warm tone shade for your crease. Back and forth. And I'm just blending it into Cupcake, which was already on my brow. I'm gonna go back in with the brush that I put on Cupcake and just kind of buff that edge so that you really can't see where the two start and stop. And then I'm gonna take just a dense kind of, this is a pretty small brush, and I'm gonna pick up Cocoa. So Cocoa is this super dark brown, and that's what I have on my outer corner. Just gonna tap it in there, and I'm gonna stay in and below the crease. I don't wanna go above the crease with this darker shade. So in and below the crease, and then kind of down in a V to my lash line, just to darken up that outer corner. If you kind of stamp it on first and then start blending from there, you'll have a lot less fallout, and you'll be able to control where the depth of the color is a little better. So once I have the depth that I want, once it's dark enough for me, I'm gonna go back in with that initial brush and just kind of buff the two, my crease shade and that outer corner darkening shade together. And I can drag it into the center a little bit, but I want the focus or the majority of the darker colors on the outside. So try to keep that from traveling all the way across your crease. You just want to keep it in the outer corner here. All right, so just a touch of Salem. So just a black matte shade on the actual edge of this brush here, because I don't want to bunch in there, but I just want to darken it up in the very outer edge a tiny, tiny bit, and then blend again with that first brush. If you notice too, I'm not holding my brushes up here, right? You get the best blending, and it blends the easiest the further back you can hold that brush and still maintain control. That's it for that. And then what I did, so same with this time. So because I got a little bit of color on the inner corner there, and I want that to stay nice and bright, I'm gonna take a tiny bit of my primer again, smallest bit, and actually just tap it on the back of my hand and then stamp that. I don't want it to be crazy thick, but just stamp it to brighten it up again on that inner corner and to give me a surface for this Marc Jacobs stuff to stick to. So I put the link to this the other day. I found it on Sephora for sale. This stuff is just like crushed diamond to me. I don't know if it picks up enough on this eye. So it's not a glitter. It's just like a sparkle. But the way I have found best to use it is to paint it where you want it brightest, and then I let it dry for just a second, because it does come off pretty liquidy, but it dries down very well, as opposed to, I have the Stila ones, and somebody mentioned this last night. The Stila ones dry down pretty dry, and then on me, they actually crack. But once this dries a little bit, I go in and I just dab it with my finger. And if you get them, you'll know what I mean. As it starts to get tackier, I go a little bit further and a little bit further, because that way I can spread some of this sparkle all the way across my lid without transferring the actual color, because it does have like a yellow tone to it. But I just am able to easily kind of diffuse that sparkle into the rest of the lid then. And I just think these are phenomenal. So Marc Jacobs, and this one, they're called see-quins, S-E-E quins. And this one is in Shimmery Dip. And I'm telling you guys, it's such a beautiful sparkle. So, all right, so I titled my video, Does Your Husband Flinch When You Walk By? Because I love my relationship, and I wondered if this is kind of a common thing in people that are happy in their relationships. I'm cleaning up a little bit because I'll get distracted otherwise. So I realized the other day that he flinches quite often when I walk near him, and I finally said to him the other night, I said, did you just flinch? And he said, yeah, I don't want to get hit in the nuts. And in that moment, I was like, this is the man for me. I finally realized what it took. It's not abusive. We have the funniest relationship in the world. And it really made me think that I bet you that's what was missing for me for a long time, was laughing about stuff. But all right, this is this 3D foundation. What I didn't realize is I do classes all the time, and I explain in these other groups what this is all about. So for anybody who has asked me recently what foundation I'm using, that's what made me realize that I needed to do this again. So if you are color matched by me, I will send you four main colors. It's this easy. 4 main colors. You're gonna have a brightening shade, a main shade, a blush shade, and a contour shade. And I'm gonna show you where those 4 colors go super quickly, and then you just blend with a brush. So I have kind of transitioned over the past year. I've been using it for a year to be able to, I apply mine directly with a brush, but I'm gonna show you this way first. So I'm picking up my contour with my finger, and I'm just going to put it everywhere that I plan to contour. I have a baby shower to go to today, so that's why I'm wearing pink. Rare color for me. So I'm contouring out a jaw that I don't have, or I have one, it's just that it's billboard, makes my chin a billboard size. So I'm trying to reduce the size of my jaw a little bit. I'm lifting my cheekbones a little bit by putting this contour directly under where I want the highest point of my cheekbones to be perceived. And then because I have a 5.5 head, I'm just gonna take down the size of my forehead a little bit with that contour. All right, so next step, I'm gonna pick up my main color. So back with my finger, and I'm just going to paint that in the areas where I don't have contour and where I'm not going to be using my brightening highlight. And I'm using as little product as I can get away with. That's the entire concept. So then the next step, I'm picking up my brightening highlight. And when I send these to you, I label them very specifically. So I'll send you a little face chart. And on that face chart, it's gonna have the name of your color and where your color goes. It's super simple, you guys. And everywhere I want to brighten. So underneath my eyes, in the center of my forehead, and down the center of my face, because that's where I want most of the focus to be. And then one trick place, I always put a brightening highlight in the very back corner of my jaw, because that helps to sharpen the way my jaw looks on the outer corner. All right, so as I'm talking, and why I start with my contour is the contour is the most dense, so it just takes a minute to kind of melt into your skin. Now I'm gonna just go blend it. So this is blush and bronzer brush, and it is double-ended. This is pretty much my main brush for all of the blending. So I'm gonna start with the actual main color, which I put everywhere I wasn't using contour and everywhere I wasn't brightening. And I'm just gonna start blending. So we're watching have you guys seen the razor commercial yet that they literally say pubic hair, that it's good for pubic hair. So we're watching this the other night, speaking of my goofy husband and I were watching this commercial the other night. All I'm doing is blending, by the way, just kind of swirling it all together and blending out. We're watching it and he turns to me and says, I'm going to get you one of those. And I was like, excuse me? What? They just said, so you can shave your genital hairs. And I thought, go ahead, dig your hole deeper. He said, no, I'm going to get you one of those. I said, for what? He said, for your whole body. Now I'm extra offended, and my strategy always in this situation is to encourage him to keep talking so that I can get more upset. And I'm looking at him like I don't know why this is where my head went directly to. I immediately thought that he was talking about, I saved the contour for last, by the way, that he was talking about for my whole body because I was abrading him with like my butt cheeks or something that were that were actually scruffy, and that's what he was saying to me. And I'm like, excuse me, for my whole body? He said, yeah. I said, well, why are you saying you're gonna get me a razor for my whole body? He said, because I'm sick of you wearing me out, or wearing mine out. And I thought, he's really talking about sex, and I'm never gonna be comfortable again being able to not be shaven, right? And I realized I had one of those. Oh, he was talking about his razor, which is our razor. And he has no right to act like I don't. I buy the razors, meaning not that our money isn't our money. I'm the one that goes to the pharmacy and buys these stupid razors. So if I want to use it on my entire body, which I do, there are 15 extras in the cartridges that I picked up at CVS. Go ahead and switch it out. Like, I just didn't understand why this was the first time after 3 years of being together. This was the first time that he was admitting to me that he was upset with me using his razor. So anyway, that's us. Like, we have this ridiculous relationship. All right, so I blended everything down. I saved what was left under my eyes last to basically just tap out with my finger, and that's because I keep a lot more coverage that way. And the only thing I didn't put on yet is my blush. So I'm gonna pick up with that same brush. This is Tropicana, just because I figured it's nice and springy for today. And I'm gonna place it right on my cheeks. And tap it out. And then because it is nice, so that's your 4 main colors. That's what I pick for you. That's how easy it is. That's how fast your face is. And if I wasn't talking, it would have been faster. The extras, there's extras if you choose them. One of the absolute best ones to get is Bella, because Bella comes as a bundle with this brush. And that's the thing I use the back end of this brush for. So I just squeeze it down so it fits into this tin, and I'm gonna hit the areas that the sun would normally hit. So kind of the top of my cheekbone here. And then I'm actually also gonna use it, touching it with my finger right here at the bottom of the bridge on my nose. Just gives you that I was out a little too long on the weekend look. And then I'll use it to just blend everything together down underneath my neck. Just gives you kind of that easy blend together. All right, so let's finish this eye and put some brows and lips on. And we'll be good to go. I am in love with this, you guys. So I've told you a couple times, but this is that Aurora eyeliner. And one of the biggest things I like about it at this point isn't just the fact that it is really, really good, but it's $11.99, and that's by far the cheapest. Actually, let me put my powder on real quick. So Ciate London Coconut Setting Powder. This is the powder brush, and this thing is phenomenal. Just gonna tap that underneath my eye here before I go any further. And that's because the quicker you powder it, the less creasing you're going to have. I even have right before here, I'm tapping it out because my finger's nice and warm. And I saw one crease there that I did not want to set in place. The only other place that I really powder, pick up the back with the back end of that same brush, is my T-zone here. All right, go back to this liner. So the reason I really like this liner the most is it's incredibly less expensive than my super favorites. So you've seen this before, but you're gonna take it, put it in the corner, pull a flick out, just like that, and then grab that 3/4 of the way to the end and come right back to your lash line, fill it in. I'm gonna do the other side just to make sure I don't have a lot of correction to do. And pull back. And then I'm gonna stamp, hey Steph, I'm gonna stamp all the way, I'm gonna pull it back across my lash line here. Do you see where, so when I close my eye, do you see how there's a top little corner here, which I can't look there and do this? Maybe this side you can see it better. This edge, this corner here, I have the shakes today. That's where you want to grab it and pull it back to give yourself the smoothest wing. But this one is a slight bit drier. And so I don't have the feathering that I was getting with my other ones on the inner corner of my eye. But that's it. So that's how easy, if you aren't shaking, I think it's too much caffeine. I had 2 energy drinks this morning instead of my normal 1 because my husband was already talking about buying Mater plants and getting the garden going, and whew. All right, so wing done. I'm not gonna do much, if anything, on my lower lash line. I'm just gonna use whatever I have left from my brows, believe it or not, to put that in. All right, wing queen. I swear, Molly, it's once you master where it goes on your eyelid, it's super easy. That's just it. It's not hard to do once you figure out exactly where it should lay. So this is my little brow kit that I put together. I have in here Coal, which has been my favorite brow shade since I colored my hair. So, and actually I'm looking into microblading. Vanessa Gregerson, who's another Seint artist who's just insanely gorgeous, finally convinced me, not personally, we didn't even have a conversation, but her pictures have convinced me that I should take the leap, because the reality is I have been very afraid of doing brow microblading, and it's because I have commitment issues. I mean, I've been married 3 times, if that doesn't scream commitment issues, but in all seriousness, I don't know that my brows are ever the same any 2 days in a row, and it almost terrifies me as much as my tramp stamp tattoo that was a really bad decision I made in my second marriage. The commitment to that has been, it's been terrifying, right? So I don't want to have the same regrets as having a tramp stamp of a football team that you are not a fan of because of a second marriage. And I have seen some really, really bad microbladings. And so that's why I have been hesitant for so long. So I did speak to somebody who did Vanessa's, just briefly, and her next available appointment is mid-June. And so I have some time to talk myself out of it, but I think that I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it because they change, but they don't change a lot, and maybe they don't change in ways they should. And if I had a professional do them, I might be a lot better off. All right, this video is getting way too long, and if anybody is anywhere near like my husband, he's like, we're all over me talking still, but I'm trying to get ready for real. And all right, mascara, hold on the inside of this. So see how this brow is crazy harsh? Best solution, take your powder brush and just kind of buff at the edge until you kind of make it a little bit more natural. So I didn't pick up powder. I have a tiny bit of powder on it, but I'm just gonna pat it away a bit until it looks a little bit less screamy in your face. All right, so this is the Ace Beauty in Be Peachy. And this I have found, it's another BoxyCharm find, but this is such a perfect nude lip liner. And I'm gonna use that. And I'm gonna tie it together with that blush that I put on. Our blushes are lip and cheek colors. Did you see how I just transferred that, by the way? It's the easiest way to start your upper lip line is just to transfer it from the bottom. And the bottom is a lot easier to line, right? It's one swoop, but when you close your lips together, they actually pull out and have the same edge to it. So it's a dumb tip, but it's a good tip to try. All right, so, and then I'm just gonna grab the back end of my multitasker brush and the Tropicana that I used on my lips, pat it in the center, and a little mascara, and I am baby shower ready. So happy that it stopped raining here because it's an outside shower, of course. Still using Thrive mascara, and still other than the fact that I think it is extremely good mascara and I get a ton of volume and length from it, my favorite thing, other than how it looks and performs, is the fact that every day when I stab myself in the eyeball and transfer my mascara to my under eye, it is still the easiest one to remove without disturbing my makeup. So hopefully me saying that out loud will mean that I'm not gonna stab myself in the eye on camera again today. But one of the things I will say about it, you can continue to kind of work with it like this while it is still extremely wet on your lash. And look how much I got. Like that's a fabulous mascara. But what I was doing was I would put it on this eye, and then I would go put it on this eye, and then I would come back here to put it on this eye again. Once it's not crazy liquidy like that, when you come back, you're gonna be straight Clump City. You have to be really careful with this mascara not to go back and forth from eye to eye. So just give it as many passes as you want till you're happy with it on that first time, and don't go back after you put it on your second eye. And then I am not a fan of it on my lower lashes, and I am still using the Bad Gal Bang from Benefit, because my favorite for my lower lashes is to have a very dry formula. And that's because I really just kind of want them to have a tint of color as opposed to them to be lengthened or separated or anything like that. All right, so that's it. I hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday. I'm hoping that this baby shower stays nice and dry, because the mama-to-be is one of the sweetest people I have ever known in my entire life. And I think it's her being a mother is probably her fulfilling her destiny. And so I'm super excited to see her glowing today. And I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday. And I'll just grab the link from the other post to this Marc Jacobs stuff. But if you haven't been color matched yet, if you want to give this makeup a try, let me know. I'll get you color matched. I'll get you into these little, that was my whole face, guys. And honestly, here's the cool thing about it. It's not my whole face, right? I had eyeshadows and everything else, blushes and stuff that I can choose from. There are like I can put everything that I had on my face, with the exception of my mascara, in here and go. So super easy makeup. I swear to you, I don't lie about stuff, unfortunately. It gets me in trouble a lot, but it's the best makeup ever. So hit me up if you want to try it. I'll talk to you guys later.